Hello and welcome to today's 15-minute focus session with me, Michelle Peters. And today our topic is the 5-step answer to the question, how much do you charge? And the reason I've picked this as a quick 15-minute focus training today is that it's a question I get asked a lot, and specifically a question I've been asked several times in the last few weeks. So I thought let's do a quick focus on it, because what I hear often is lawyers and other kinds of professionals saying to me, I get emails and I get phone calls, and the only thing the person seems to want to know is, how much is it? What do you charge for, insert the service? What do you charge for residential conveyancing? What do you charge for a specific type of visa application? What do you charge for drafting a shareholders agreement? What do you charge for doing accounts? Whatever it might be. And this throws up some challenges around how we answer it, and there are some tactics we can use to, instead of making it something that puts us on the back foot, have it something that really presents us in a positive way to the client, puts us on the front foot. So first of all, let's just talk about the challenge related to this question. First thing is, it's often the first question that clients ask, whether it's in email or phone call. Unless you're dealing with big complex matters, it can often be the first thing you get asked. So it's the first thing that clients are focused on. And you often, in most cases, you don't want to be the cheapest, because that feels like throwing money away. That feels like doing a lot of work for hardly any money, not making a profit. You think, what's the point of it anyway? So you don't want to be the cheapest, and so you don't want to quote low. On the other hand, when you quote your fee, the challenge is that clients often don't see your value. They don't understand the value of what you're offering, and so they don't know why you might be more expensive than other quotes or prices that they've had. And the ultimate problem here is that price is the default comparison. What that means is, if there's nothing else to compare you on, then your prospective clients will compare you on price. And let's face it, I think we'd all do that. If we can't see a difference between two different services or two different products, one is cheaper than the other, we'll take the cheaper one. Although I think we also all know that if we can see a difference, and that difference is important to us, we'll often choose the more expensive one. But we have to be able to see the difference, and that difference has to be important to us. So that brings us on to the solution to answering this question, which is a 5-step answer. 5-step process for answering. And when you follow these 5 simple steps I'm about to give you, you'll be able to stop being compared just on price and get more of your ideal clients to understand the value you offer and why they should choose you. And the why is very, very important, because if there isn't a why they should choose you, then why would they? Okay, so that's what we're going to focus on, and the way I'm going to help you with this is that there's a worksheet that you can download that I'm about to take you through, which is going to give you the 5 steps to this answer. Now I'm going to put the link into the chat so that you can click this link and download the worksheet if you'd like to. If you don't want to download it right now, that's fine, because you can download it afterwards. It'll be available with the recording of this training. But for now, I'm actually going to take you through what the 5 steps are, and then you'll be able to use the worksheet that I've just shown you really as a guide, as a reminder when you're either dealing with these inquiries by phone or even when you're dealing with them by email. It'd be useful to have this by the side of your desk. So if you've clicked on the link and it's working, can you just type in for me, got it? Got it, to let me know it's working? That'd be great, so that I know that the link is fine. Okay, so 5 steps to answer, how much do you charge? Thanks, Apan, for letting me know. Great, thanks, Elena. So the 5 steps, I'm just going to give you the order, and we'll talk about some examples as we go. Now, the first thing to know before you get into any of these 5 steps is you need to resist the temptation to respond immediately with a fee estimate or quote. So if someone says, how much are you for conveyancing? We don't want to say £500. That is not the way to answer this question. So the very first thing to do is not respond in the way that you might normally respond. Okay, instead follow these 5 steps. Step 1 is to find out what's important. In other words, what is important to the person that is inquiring about what they want. So, okay, it could be the case that the only thing that's important to them is the cheapest price. But often, if that's what's most important, it's because they haven't thought about any of the other things that could be important. And some of the people that come to you, price is not the most important thing right from the start. So we've got to engage them in conversation to find out more about what they want and what's important to them. And conversation, obviously, if we're on the phone, we want to start asking some questions. And even if we're on email, we can ask questions by email, or we can suggest a quick phone call. Particularly if they've provided their phone number, we can call them. It's much easier to have conversation in a phone call, but it is also possible by email. And sometimes with email, we'll send a couple of questions, one or two, get a reply, send some more. So don't feel like if you're doing it by email, you need to send all your questions at once. But we need to ask some questions to find out what's important. So if someone says, how much are you charging for conveyancing? An obvious thing to do would be to say, yeah, I can definitely help you with that. Can you just tell me a little bit about the property you're buying, and get them into conversation? Where are they buying it? Why are they moving? What's prompted it? Oh, it's their dream home. It's going to be nearer for the kids to go to school. If it's their dream home, then what's going to be important to them is that this deal goes through, that it completes, that there aren't any problems. Or if they're selling a house because they're buying another, what's going to be important is that they can sell that house quickly so that they can get the new house. They don't get delayed. So let's find out what's important to them by asking some questions. To give a different example, if it's immigration and it's a visa, find out why it's important to them. Why are they applying for it? Well, it's always been their dream to move into the UK or to move abroad to another country, and all their family is already there or wants to go there. Why? Let's find out what's important to them by asking some questions. That's step one. Then step two, let's find out why those things are important. It's not necessarily enough to know what's important. It's important that this transaction completes quickly. Let's find out why. Again, by asking. So why is that? Why is that the most, your priority? And they might say, because I'm on a deadline. It's really important that this deal completes by this date. It's really important that I get my application for my visa in by this other date. Find out what's important and why by asking some simple questions about, tell me a little bit about why that's important, or what's most important about this for you. Is it speed, or is it making sure it's done 100% right, or is it, whatever else they've said? And what we're trying to do is find out, what are their buying criteria? What's important to them that they're going to use to make a decision about who they will use? Because chances are, if they're asking you about price, they'll be asking other people as well. Now, not only can we find out what are their buying criteria, but we can influence their buying criteria by asking them if it's important that it's done in a certain way, or it's important that they get a certain level of service during the process. Because by asking those questions, we plant the seeds into their mind so that they can think, it is important to me that I get good service. That's actually more important than price. Or it is important to me that this can be completed within 6 weeks. That's more important than price. So by asking questions, we can not only find out what their buying criteria are, so how they'll decide, but we can influence those buying criteria just with some simple questions. Okay, once we know what's important to them and why it's important, now we can show them how we can deliver what they want. In other words, it's an opportunity to say, well, I know you said that service is very important to you. The way that we work is we have a team of this many people, and you'll be assigned to somebody specifically so that actually you'll always get the same person when you ring up. But on the off chance that they're not in the office, other people in the office will always know and have easy access to your file and be able to help you. So you'll always get a quick response. Now, you would adapt that answer to whatever's the case for you. If you're just one person, you make a virtue of that. If you're a team, you make a virtue of that. But if they've said service is important, you need to tell them how you can deliver the kind of service that they want. If it's speed, you need to explain how you can achieve speed and maybe how you've achieved it for other clients. So tell them about how you can give them exactly what they've said they want. This way, they're not just going to be comparing you on price. When we've done that, step 4 is explain your fee in the context of what they want. So we don't just want to say we're £500, we're £1,000, we're £1,500, because that doesn't give any background. It doesn't give any context. It doesn't give them a way to evaluate, is it worth the investment for the result they'll get? But because you've asked them about what's important and why, you can start to put your fee in the context of what's important for them. So let me give you some examples. Let's say they've come to you, you're a business lawyer, and you're going to help them put in place documents that will protect their business against claims from in the future from suppliers. So having found out what they want and talked a bit about what some of those costs and liabilities could be, if they get claims from suppliers, you might say something like, well, to draft these documents, which will give you the protection you want in your business against claims from suppliers, which could cost you thousands, our fee is £3,000. So you're putting the £3,000 in the context of protecting you from claims that could cost you thousands. Another alternative, to help you resolve this issue in the quickest possible way without incurring lots of your time, which I know you've said is very valuable to you, your time, our fee is £900. Or to help you put in place the application that you need to make this successful and avoid the possibility that it gets rejected, because if it's rejected, you can't reapply, then our fee is going to be £1,500. So sometimes you can put your fee in the context of actual money. I might say to a client, to help you put in place the marketing strategies that increase your income by 100,000 in the next 12 months, the fee is £8,000. Sometimes you can put it in the context of actual money, but sometimes you put it in the context of pain of not getting what they want or benefit of getting what they have. So to help you get this immigration visa right so that you can move here and be with your family, which I know you've said is really important to you, especially that it happens soon so that you're not spending time away from your family and your children, our fee is £1,500. Can you see what I mean about putting it in context? It's no good just saying £1,500 without putting it in the context of what they want, because it will be much harder for them to see the value of what you do. And then when we've done that, we've explained the fee in the context of what we want. The next step, really important, is to invite them to take the next step with you. So don't say, so if you decide you want to go ahead, give us a call back. No, don't say that. You'd say, so the next step would be to book you in for an initial meeting with me. And as I explained, it's a fixed fee of £500, or our fee for this service is £5,000, whatever it is. We've got Wednesday and Thursday next week available as our first appointments. Would that suit you? Or which would suit you best? Or the next step is we need you to fill out a questionnaire so that we can come back to you with the next steps after that. And which email address shall I send the questionnaire to? We need to actually invite them to the next step, not just ask them to come back to us when they're ready. So, as I said before, if you follow these 5 steps, then you'll be able to stop being compared just on price and get more of your ideal clients to understand the value you offer and why they should choose you, because you'll have found out what's important to them and why. You'll have shown how you can deliver exactly what they want, and you'll have put your fee in the context of what they want, meaning they'll be able to see the value. Plus, inviting them to the next step helps move them into action rather than have them go away and think about it and potentially not come back. And as I mentioned, there's a worksheet which you can fill in notes on it as you're going through a phone call. We'll just post the link again in the chat. Or you can use it to have by your desk when you're answering emails, as the sort of things, the steps you need to go through in emails. It is a little bit more tricky to do it in email because you often need to do multiple emails. Sometimes it's just much easier to say, I'm very happy to give you a quote on that. I need to ask a couple of questions to find out a little bit more so I can be more accurate in my quote. So when is a good time for me to call you and what's the best number? In other words, you're responding by email saying, yes, you'll give them a quote. You need to find out a few more things to give them an accurate quote. That could suggest that others who don't ask those questions won't give an accurate quote. So it'll encourage them to want the accurate quote and then suggest a phone call to discuss it. And so this worksheet is really just a way to help you either take notes during the call or prompt you on what to say during email exchanges. Okay, so those are the 5 steps I've just outlined. What about questions? Do you have questions about how you could use this in your practice? Is it useful? Is this something you think you could use in your practice when answering the question, how much is it? And is it something that if you don't take these calls directly, that you could use to help your staff put together a sort of questionnaire that they would ask? Because of course, if you're always, if one member of staff is always taking questions about the cost of conveyancing or the cost of visas or the cost of something else, you could prepare specific questions they would ask relating to that specific topic. So you've just seen the video from me on how to use the worksheet that you downloaded. If you put those steps into practice, I know that you're going to get great results. Would you like to know more about how you get these kinds of trainings, videos, worksheets, templates and tools to help you grow your legal or professional practice? Because every month I run these kinds of trainings for clients in my Profitable Practice program. This is a program designed for lawyers who want to double their profits in the next 12 months without working more hours. And as well as these tools and techniques and strategies and tips, I also share advice, and I also help my lawyers and professionals plan out in 90-day cycles exactly what they need to get done to get more of their ideal clients, more profits, and without working more hours. That's really important. So if you'd like to find out more, then the first step would be for us to have a quick chat and find out what are the biggest things holding you back or slowing you down at the moment for getting the results you want in your practice. Once we know what those are, I can help you identify what you need to do differently. We can see if the Profitable Practice program is a good fit to help you do it differently. So if you're interested to have that chat, then apply for a focus session with me by using the link that's about to come up on the screen now. You can apply for a 15-minute, no obligation, Profitable Practice focus session with me. We'll find out the biggest thing holding you back, slowing you down or getting in the way. And when we know what that is, we can have a chat about whether my program is helpful to help you with those issues and whether you and I are a good fit to work together. So apply for your Profitable Practice focus session following the instructions on the screen. I look forward to talking to you soon.